I'm a 33-year-old man, and I recently found out that my wife cheated on me. The discovery wasn't even from her. It came from a random conversation at a party. A guy, who casually knew the man she cheated with, mentioned it, assuming I already knew. But I didn't. When I confronted her, she admitted to it, saying it was a one-time thing, lasted only moments, and that she stopped because it felt wrong. She claims it happened months ago, but that doesn't make it hurt any less. I feel embarrassed, humiliated, and like a complete fool. What stings even more is knowing some people already knew before I did. It's crushing to think that word might spread further, and people could be talking about me behind my back. I hate the idea of being viewed as oblivious or weak for not realizing what was going on in my own marriage. What's tearing me apart is the uncertainty. She insists it was just a single mistake, something she deeply regrets, but I can't stop wondering if there's more to the story. Before this, I trusted her completely. I didn't think twice when she went out with friends for drinks while I worked late. Now I'm questioning everything. Were those nights really innocent? Or is there something else I don't know? Our marriage seemed strong. We shared so many good times and, at least on the surface, seemed happy. Now I feel like my whole life has been upended. This betrayal has planted a seed of doubt that won't go away. I find myself analyzing her every word and action, constantly second-guessing her, and wondering if I'll ever fully know the truth. She says she wants to rebuild my trust, but I don't know if I can forgive her, or if I even want to. One of the hardest parts is knowing she didn't come clean on her own. I had to find out from someone else, and that makes me feel even more foolish. I don't know how to move past the shame of knowing others knew before I did. Update: divorce and co-parenting challenges. Filing for divorce felt like ripping off a Band-Aid, but the aftermath, the asset division and co-parenting arrangements, has been a slow and painful process. My soon-to-be ex-wife has refused to take responsibility for her actions. Instead, she shifted the blame onto me, claiming I gave up too easily or didn't try hard enough to work things out. To add insult to injury, she revealed that she and the man she cheated with had been planning to eventually leave their spouses and take their time to make things official. As if that would have made it any better. She could have left with dignity, figured herself out, and spared both of our families this nightmare. But instead, she chose to blow everything up and still portrays herself as the victim. Conversations with her about dividing assets or setting up co-parenting schedules have been incredibly frustrating. She complains constantly, and I have to fight the urge to lash out with hurtful comments. As much as I want to let her know exactly how I feel, I know it would only escalate the situation and hurt our kids in the process. My priority now is creating a stable, healthy environment for my children. I'm aiming for majority custody because I'm the more stable parent, with a house, a job, and a commitment to their well-being. Therapy has been a lifeline for me during this time. My therapist has helped me reframe my interactions with her, reminding me that every time I resist the urge to lash out, I'm choosing my kids over my anger. That thought keeps me grounded when things feel overwhelming. To maintain peace, I've set strict boundaries. Conversations with her are limited to practical matters like finances or co-parenting logistics. When she tries to steer the discussion toward guilt-tripping or emotional manipulation, I shut it down immediately. It's exhausting to remain calm while she continues to avoid taking responsibility, but I'm holding on to the hope that over time, we can build a co-parenting relationship that works for the kids. Although it feels like I'm carrying most of the burden to keep things civil, I know it's worth it if it means my kids have a stable, loving environment. Healing from this betrayal will take time, but I'm focusing on what truly matters, protecting my family's future. Therapy has been my lifeline. It's helped me stay grounded and focus on what truly matters. While I still have moments when anger and hurt resurface, I've learned to redirect that energy into building a better life for myself and my kids. They deserve stability, and I deserve peace. One step at a time. Story 2. Confused and betrayed again. I'm a 41-year-old woman who is in a long-distance relationship with a 50-year-old married man. Our affair lasted 6 years, but he ended it earlier this year. During that time, we were on and off. I fell hard for him in the beginning, but as the years passed, he became increasingly cruel. I sought revenge by trying to expose his infidelity to his family, letting them know he was cheating on their mother with me and other women he met online. He found out and we ended up reconciling, possibly so he could get back at me. This time, when it ended, I knew I wouldn't try to reconnect with him. I was sure he was cheating on me as well as on his wife, though I couldn't prove it at the time. I tried to move on with my life, even though I still had feelings for him. Those feelings remain, but I've decided not to act on them. Recently, while chatting with someone online, I gave them an old email address I hadn't used in years. When I logged in, I found an invitation from my ex to a chat website. I knew he had been on this site before, but assumed he was no longer active. I made an account and started answering compatibility questions he had answered. That's when I discovered he was on the site seeking non-monogamous relationships and hookups with women aged 30 to 40. It felt like a gut punch. He's likely using multiple websites to meet women. The last time we were together, he gave me an STD and had the audacity to blame me for it. I believed him at the time, only to later realize he had been lying. The dilemma. I feel sorry for his wife. Should I tell her what her husband is doing? If I were in her shoes, I'd want to know. He doesn't use protection, putting her at risk of STDs. He seems to be going through a midlife crisis, using sex to feel desired and younger. I need advice on whether to tell her. My intention isn't revenge. I've already paid for my mistakes and learned my lesson. But he continues his selfish behavior, and his actions could harm others. Edit. On reflection, I'm leaning towards not saying anything. It feels like too much hassle, and I don't want to ruin his marriage. He'll mess up on his own eventually. That's karma. I'm prioritizing my peace and moving forward. Perspective. This is a tough situation. The key question to ask yourself is, what's your motivation for wanting to tell his wife? Is it genuine concern for her well-being, or are lingering feelings of betrayal and anger influencing your decision? If it's genuine concern, then yes, his wife deserves to know, especially since her health could be at risk. However, approach the situation calmly, factually, and anonymously to avoid unnecessary drama. If it's more about closure or payback, it might be better to step back. Getting involved, even indirectly, could pull you back into his toxicity and hinder your healing process. He's lied, cheated, and disrespected you in countless ways. Don't let him take up any more space in your life. It's okay if you decide not to tell her. His actions will catch up to him eventually. Focus on your own peace and healing. You've been through enough. Comments from others. You knew he was married and had an affair with him. Now that he ended things, you want to tell his wife out of revenge. If you're looking for moral validation, you won't find it here. Leave it alone, block him, and move on with your life. It's hard to see this as a genuine need to repent when you stayed with him for 6 years knowing he was married. Let him destroy his life on his own. It's not your responsibility. Stay strong and focus on building a brighter future for yourself.